Well, well, well. If it isn't our old friend, what is this again? Polycarbonate. Basically a PVC about 6 mil thick. And we've used it in a couple places on the rig, mainly the bays. And I am back to cutting this again. And you might ask yourself, why? I mean, why, Sean? Why? Well, so what I have going on here is I am working on the belly of the beast. So basically I have the coach frame, which is that where all the mechanical and electrical and everything runs through for the living quarters, and then I have the truck chassis, which is the lower one. And what I'm doing is creating a belly between the two frames, between that frame and the other side, across, that I'm going to insulate so that all my plumbing and the heating from the bays across each side will actually hold heat. And the first one I'm messing with is the leading edge, which is the edge down inside there going back. And the bugger is, yeah, it's like tight as a drum in here. So basically that sheet, left to right, will set up in here. See if I can make this work here. We'll basically go from under those tubes there, all the way across to there. Problem being is that guy right there, my transfer case. I have to get up and over that. And since that's the leading edge, I now have to go from the inside edge of the metal frame to the inside edge of the metal frame to seal it off from the elements. Well, whereas up in here, I have like a 2-inch landing area that I'm gonna land it on, and I can actually shove it back in here and then pull the other end up and get it in the hole and then slide it back and slide it all down. The problem with that end is it has to go all the way to the metal and all the way to the metal. So the challenge is all this stuff, and I just have nowhere to get it in, one, and two, to be able to get it between the frame first. So here's what I'm trying to say. So basically I have to bend it and put a shim in between the frame to get it up into the frame and then get it to expand from edge to edge. So that's what I'm working on now. This is the worst piece. After this, they'll go in fairly easily, and I'll kind of document that, but we're trying to get this sucker in. I'll show you when I get it in, because this is kicking my butt. But. I don't know if you can see this or not. So I was able to get it in. Now I'm kind of working past all the plumbing and fittings, whatever else, and the bugger is, I cannot get my little body in between the drive shaft and the air tanks. So I'm trying to weasel this thing from the ground, reaching up, and from back here pushing it. And I have to get all the way up to the transfer case. But yeah, it's sitting there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so I have a ways to go yet. I have this belly. Basically, I have to get that whole lip up inside there to get this to bow a little less to get it over that guy right there. That's what we're working on. All right, tube. So the long piece, basically the shelf or the belly, is in the truck and set where it's supposed to be. Had to take it out once more to cut about a 1/4 inch off the edge because it had a bit of a bow to it as it sat between the frame. So that sucked. Nonetheless, it's in. So what I'm doing now is, this is the face. So basically the belly sits like this, and then this is the piece that goes from the frame down to the belly where it goes over the transfer case. And what I'm gonna do is, what I'm using, is my 3M tape. And again, I've scuffed this. I've actually heated it with a heat gun. I've scuffed it, and then I used the 3M primer and etched it. I don't know if you can see the difference between this and this. And then I pushed set my tape into place. And what I'm doing is putting angle iron on, and what I'm going to do is, this is the top, and I'll drill some pilot holes through here, and then I'll screw this to the frame. I'll screw this to the frame of the truck, well, the coach, basically the floor, and then this piece down here is going to go under the belly and hold the belly up, and I'll glue that in or figure something out on that as well. I may screw that in as well, but nonetheless, I have my notches out for my fuel lines, for my feed to the 12-volt panel, and the heating lines to the truck. So those are all notched out, and this should set up into place and hold everything just lovely. And yeah, so there's an update. I will do another update when pieces are together, but this is kind of the process of getting it to step down from one level to the next and still have it kind of airtight, watertight. Eventually we'll seal these up with spray foam and some probably Sikaflex or something. We'll have to work on that one, but there we go. So yeah, started back there. Was able to get up over the frame, and now I have it in on top of the transfer case, and I think let's get shimmied under between the next drive shaft, because yeah, I have multiple drive shafts. Oh my goodness. So for the most part, that's where she's supposed to sit. I need to level it out, but I'm going to basically have another piece. I know it's hard to see down here. Let's see if I can get a little better light in there. So basically I have another piece going from here up with a piece of angle on it, and I'll screw the angle to this, glue the angle to my other piece coming down, and then I'll have a piece of angle screwed and glued to this. And that basically, so had I cut this sheet any shorter, air would be getting in from where you see that nut in. I gotta have a gap between this and the frame bigger than that, and then basically moisture could get up inside there pretty easily and then wrap into there. So now that it's from edge to edge, and I'll have this face sealed from edge to edge, that'll start the semi-waterproof or watertight, we'll call it watertight, seal for the belly, which is basically all the way back. It'll drop down, so we're going to drop it down to this level here the rest of the way back. So I'll have another piece of angle iron dropping down and heading that way off of this piece. So off of this piece. I hope this all turns out. It's a little dark and a little tight in here. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I am between two drive shafts in the frame, and over there's the exhaust. So it is snug as a bug in a rug down here, folks. Well, tube, I am 3 sheets in. I have a small one here. Let's see if I can get this. Small one here. Actually, am I 2 sheets in? God damn it. I'm only 2 sheets in. All right, tube. 2 sheets in. They were the worst ones. The first one has the bracket going up, and then what I've done is I've actually taped these guys. Let's see. You can see on that one, taped these guys to the PVC and then screwed through these into the rubber. It has a little flex, but they can't go back and forth, and these guys keep them from sliding left to right. And then you can see I have a couple screws attaching the 2 panels, and eventually I'll have a support in the middle. But up top, you can see there's a little air gap, and I've shoved the insulation in. Let's see if we can, best I can, and it will make a tremendous difference when it comes time to heat this thing, because all these guys were exposed. These are my hot water lines, and they were exposed to the elements. So water circulating through these guys would cool off so fast. So yeah, Little by little. Little by little. Oh my God, tube. So day 2, working on the belly. My Lexan is going up underneath, and from the front of the rig, from the front of the box, all the way down and over, I have it in to just about the center of the axle. And what I'm working on, you see I've got knee pads and boards because the gravel has torn me up so bad. Tore me up so bad yesterday, I have road rash on my back and legs. So, let's see if we can get up here. I had to abandon the R19 6-inch insulation, which I kind of knew I would. Over here, and I have, I think it's 1 inch, maybe 3/4 inch, that's 1 inch. Solid foam insulation, and I put contact cement on the insulation on the board, so it's actually, or on the Lexan rather, so it's stuck in place, and you can see that the insulation is shied this way because I pushed it that way over the other edge, because it's basically receiving the other piece of Lexan is sitting just like this with the insulation pushed forward, so there was an overlap to the one before it. So basically what happens is, since the insulation up front is overlapped, it will go on top and butt against the other piece ahead of it, which is actually the R19. The problem is, A, it's tight. A, it is wicked tight. So if you can look up there, I have 2 underbars separating the Lexan, so I can smack this one and have an overlap onto the next one. So let's see if I can get this someplace we can see that. It's a dead stop. So yeah, it's a dead stop. I'm having to go kind of adjust it. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not. Somewhere up in there, I think the right edge is where it's hitting. So what I'm doing is jumping between that side of the pig and this side of the pig to get this piece in. And I have this piece and then one more to go above this tank and under the control valve. And I still have to put plumbing in, which is easy enough because I have these rubber couplers on both sides. But I have this one to get in and then one more, and then I'm into Wonderland, where I can actually put a piece up underneath the frame here and seal this whole belly part. Ha! Encapsulated my butt. What is that? That's encapsulated. End to end, sealed up, ready to go. This is in progress. And we're using the Glad Force Flex Plus. It's rip and tear resistant, and it's actually, I've been trying to rip it and tear it, all it does is stretch. So it should hold up pretty well. So I have about 10 or 12 of these to do to get ready for the belly of the rig. Yeah, buddy. Up near Steamboat, Colorado. We've had a couple of feet of snow. It was gorgeous yesterday. Most of it melted off the campers. And obviously it's snowing again. So there's the backside of the belly, all wrapped up, pretty well sealed up. Even my little edges up here, it's not 100% airtight, but I have insulation going down the whole thing, and it's working great. Super happy with the way the boiler's holding the heat now and not cooling off. It doesn't cycle on and off nearly as quickly as it did back in, God, November. And yeah, super happy with it. It's turned out great. It sealed up really well. Let's see if I can do a shot of the front. I don't know that I can get in there, and you might be able to see it. That's the vertical piece that goes down to the piece that goes above the transfer case. But yeah, it's worked out great, and we're gonna go riding here in a minute. Winter testing, thumbs up. Passed with flying colors. Till next time, Tube.